I was drenched. If you do 5 minutes of that, I promise you, you will be
She said protein should make up 35% of your total daily calories. Hi everybody, I am back with health expert Cameron Diaz. She wrote an article for this website. It's very short. I could not find video of her talking about protein, so if you wanted to see more of her in this video, well, you're gonna see more of her. I'll make it up to you. Let's see what we got here. Now online. Power Up on Protein by Cameron Diaz. Okay. 2014. That's the 21st century. She says small portions here, not to eat like a caveman. Then she just writes a bunch of basic stuff about protein. Some of it is outdated. Some of it is really pathetic and pre-teenish. Now we get here. Oh boy. Gotta skip some shit. Save some of that shit for later here. Okay, I do want to put this shit in first. Remember, these are her words. When you eat carbs and fats, your body can store away some of the excess for later use. Can. Whether you like it or not, well, it's not very scientific. But protein is different. Amino acids cannot be stored in the body. Actually, they can for up to a day. Now, I could say something obvious and basic, like actors should not pretend to be health and diet experts. But the fact is, there are a lot of diet and health experts out there who are saying the similar kind of crap. And that's probably where she got this information. So Cameron Diaz is not the source of this problem. A lot of information out there about protein is outdated, and a lot of it is propaganda to get you to eat protein and fat, which basically means meat. And the meat industry here in America is multi-billion-dollar business, and they want to keep it that way. They know that their meat products have a bad rap. People are turning away from them, mostly because of the abusiveness of their business. And so they bring you back in with half-truths about the nutrition. For instance, here on protein, this is really naive and simplistic. It's like she didn't fact-check herself when she came across something on the interwebs saying amino acids don't turn into fat. Not directly, but protein can turn into carbohydrates in a process called neoglucogenesis. And as we all know, glucose, carbohydrates, can easily turn into fat. Well, that's not true either. But it all depends on if the body wants to store fat. It'll get the fat. It'll give you eating disorders, make you binge. Then it'll put on the fat it thinks it needs. What you need to do is stop eating this stupid way with all these animal products. Protein should make up roughly 35% of your total daily calories. Keep that in mind. So 1/3 of your breakfast, lunch, and dinner should be healthy protein. More crap. A little more crap. Okay. So let's round off and say 50 grams of protein each day. So when I saw that number, 50 grams of protein, I thought, let's do the math, see the bigger picture here. That's what I always do. Now maybe math isn't her thing. 50 grams of protein in a day would be 1/3 of total calories. 50 grams, you multiply that by 4 to get the calories. So that's 200 calories a day from protein. I gotta keep on checking myself here because this just doesn't seem right. 1 gram is 4 calories, so 50 grams is going to be 200 calories, right? And that 200 calories protein a day would be 1/3 of total calories, so you gotta multiply by 3 now to get total calories. 200 times 3 is 600 calories a day? Well, I think we just found out why she's thin. eating a meat and dairy diet. I don't actually think she's eating that little, but she's probably eating a lot less than I am. I'm 48, and in my last video someone said I look better than she does, aging better, eating all those carbs, those agers, yet eating all that protein that doesn't turn into fat. She still exercises a lot, so of course she's going to be thin at certain times, but she's going to end up one fat bitch on the truth about protein into a new book. This book is the science, just laid out. And it's laid out in the proper way, with the proper bias. And that is the proper vegan diet. Because humans are herbivores. I keep saying that. There's this wide belief that we are not. Chapter 6, Protein. Official guidelines recommend 10% protein. And sure, official doesn't mean right. But when you consider the World Health Organization, the RDA, it's also well known that Americans eat much more protein than most of the world. They eat about twice as much as they need. Here it says Americans eat 16% protein. Now that still sounds low. How can it be that as a nation we gorge on high protein foods more than the rest of the world, yet end up with less than 20% of our calories from protein? The answer is that vast majority of these protein foods, eggs and meat, and nuts and seeds even, get most of their calories from fat. And so 16% is the high protein American diet, and she's recommending 35%. Now, maybe she's doing different math. Maybe she's calculating differently, but it says total calories. That's the right way to calculate. That's the way this book calculates. But let's say that people following the advice in her book do the math in the correct way, where they'd actually be getting 35% of their calories from protein. The dangers of eating more than 10% protein come into play. So that's actually dangerous advice. There's no need to eat that much protein, and it can only do you harm. She advocates a Mediterranean diet. According to Diaz, a recent study traced individuals over 4 years. In the last few years, the Mediterranean diet has actually changed. They should change the name, but that would make sense, and not as many dollars. Is she saying these people turned out well? Because I got news for you. Eventually, if Cameron continues to eat this way, she's going to end up one fat bitch. So, Cameron, I think you should stick with just being a slut. So put on something skimpy, because you know that's what my viewers want to see. See that? So at the moment, Cameron Diaz is thin enough, and she has been in the past, and now she's saying, yeah, eat a high-protein diet, and you'd be thin like I am. But let's take a closer look at the numbers, not to mention her thighs. What struck me first about those numbers, 50 grams of protein a day, well, that's not high. That's the RDA's right in there. I get about that much on a high-fruit diet, low-protein diet. I'm getting about 40 grams. Sometimes I do reach 50, easy on a vegan diet. Is she saying these people turned out pretty good? Is she saying these people